Jaya Jaya.
Jaya!
Oh my goddess. I love this woman.
I love this man. What's the topic for today, baby?
The topic for today is what is the difference between sharing and processing? Right? Sometimes, like, for instance, this morning we were just having a chat, and then it feels really nice and nourishing and natural. Then sometimes we enter into more processing, right? And we started anchoring a hashtag, which is zero processing. Okay, and it feels fucking good.
Yeah.
It's easy to sustain, right?
Yeah.
So-
Makes a big difference.
It's been like 3 weeks since we were not processing much before, but at some point we were like, too much processing, right? There was a moment where, and so we were like, fuck it, I just want to make love to you, I don't want to process.
Yeah.
And so we were like, okay, hashtag zero processing. And for most of you who are hearing that, you must be like, oh, that's impossible. We need to share, we need to talk. And you can share, so what's your insight about that? Like, why is it that when we're just sharing, it's fun, and then what makes it processing? What makes it that requires energy or like, yeah,
I feel like processing is when there's still stuff to be processed, whereas a lot of the time I find that processing can be an individual experience, which once we've done the inner work individually, we come together and then we share. So we're not wasting hours processing, going back and forth with each other, which can often trigger more stuff to process and more stuff to process, and it's just ongoing and then the day's gone. Instead, we're going, there's something here, I'm going to check it out for myself, you check it out for yourself, and then we come back and share. Which for me, really, at the end of the day, if there's some charge or there's something that needs to be processed, there's a request or a need or a boundary that hasn't been communicated. So this whole thing can be fast forwarded even without needing to process, and just dropping into the heart and dropping into the body and being like, okay, if I just let go of all the story and all the blah, 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 and just get to what's right at the core of it, what is it that I'm needing? What do I need to share and communicate?
yeah,
Yeah.
beautiful. I like what you're saying. What I hear about that is really that the processing is when there is some form of emotion that is not digested. Right? For instance, even if I'm sharing something with you that has nothing to do with our dynamics, but just about my own process, about something that is not being digested, then it's going to impact in your field, right? You feel like a contraction of my emotions and energies, and then that's going to impact our field as well. And so you might be like, you know what? I really want to hold space for you, but right now is not the right time. Can you process that by yourself and then come back to me when it's done? So what this means, processing it by myself, means that I might go to the river, I might sing some mantras, I might activate energy, I might go into into running the energy through sound, movement, through breathing as well, and then just activate that and then bring it to the surface, and then allow that to be released. And then I come to you and I'm like, oh yeah, I can see how this energy is moving. It's no longer something that we need to work out together. So what happens when it's just sharing?
It's just straight to the truth and straight from the body, not the mind. And then the other person can receive it and be a yes to it, or be like, no, that doesn't feel good for me. That's not a fit for me.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's a lot shorter. And I feel like, like there's times when for sure couples do need to go into processing and stuff's going to come up, and they're in a situation where they do need to go through it together. And I think that's when a timer can be amazing. 4 minutes sharing each. And then it's like really to the point and cuts away the ego's need to go into story, and then like memory comes up from the past and like, actually that was really hard as well, and I got triggered by that as well, and it's ongoing. Whereas the timer really means that you drop into that like direct, healthy masculine way of communicating, where it's like just get to the point.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah. And one of the things that is very, very strong in what we're experiencing is that it's very intentional. So, for instance, one of the things is like, do you want to spend 1 hour processing, or do you want to spend 1 hour making love? With just 1 hour window of opportunity, we're like, what is it that you want to do? And we're like, we just want to make love. We just want to be sensual instead of being like, oh my God, it's like. So it has been, I don't know about you, has been easy, right? Mm-hmm. It's very easy to go into zero processing.
Yeah, and I love what you said. I think a big thing around processing is intentionality. So if there is something that comes up, it's like we'll always sit down, create the space for it, and then like really try and be specific.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Specific and to the point.
Yeah.
Can we get addicted to processing?
Fuck yes. Oh my god.
How does it feel to be addicted to processing? What happens?
It's just non-stop. There's just always something. There's always an emotion. There's like this vortex into the emotional body that seems never ending. It's like a spiritual addiction.
Yeah, exactly. Some form of
We've
spiritual
all been
addiction.
there at some
Yeah,
stage.
Have you been burnt out as processing?
Yeah. And then the question is like, or I could choose joy. Or I could choose to bring more joy in my life by not over processing and just like really getting to the core of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Rather than having to go on and
Yeah, beautiful. Well, I'll try it out. You don't have to go all the way to #zero processing, but if you're ready for it, give it a go. And if there is an emotion inside of you that you feel needs to be run, especially if it has nothing to do with your partner, but just an internal
And
thing.
especially if it does have to do with your partner as well. Better to clear that yourself and then come back with actually what you're wanting to communicate than having to put the other person through your whole process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So these are not dogmas, okay? We're giving you like possibilities. We try certain things and we go like, oh, does that work for you? And we go, not really. What about this? So we are experimenting with navigating with, with our intuitive abilities. It's not the dogma. It's not like a rule which is black and white. Like there might be a point where we look into each other's eyes and we're like, wow, there is something profound there that it would really be a bonding experience for us to share within that space. You might have some rage or anger coming out of you, and I might be like, wow, I really want to witness that. I really want to be in that space. So don't take any of the things that we are saying as dogmas or this is the only truth. You might have a different experience of reality, and that's perfectly okay.
And the question is always, do I feel contraction around this or do I feel expansion around this? And in the beginning, like some of our processing, I felt so much expansion because there was such conscious communication in that processing together that I was like, I have never experienced this in a relationship, such conscious communication in my life. But then after time, like that can shift as well. And it's like, okay, maybe we don't need to spend as much time processing and more time playing together.
Exactly.
So just track your body and whether it's expanding or contracting.
Yeah. And also in the frequency, if you're processing maybe an hour a week, that's manageable. If you're processing 5 days a week, then that becomes too much. So create time for play and sensuality and love making instead of being trapped into this emotional, mental whirlpool of addictive emotions.
And if you find that's you, try a timer, 4-minute timer.
Okay, 4-minute timer.
Pretty amazing.
I like 5 minutes, but I'm gonna make a compromise right here. We love you.
Bye.
Bye.